Welcome to part 20 of Don't Say Schwarzenegger, my story of surviving an attempted unaliving and the corruption and cover-up that ensued. A-list celebrities, politicians, and their offspring are also in this story. So right now we are in the fourth of 7 hearings over the course of 5 months that are just to deal with the surprise police raid at the 3 felons' home where they found the illegal white powder, the duffel bag of illegal green plants, and the stolen loaded chambered pew-pew that was accessible to all 3 Drizes. So we're not in the airport court in the secret hearings anymore. We're back again into Judge Mader's courtroom downtown. And also, we have a new DDA, Deputy District Attorney, for this case because, if you'll remember in the last hearing in Judge Mader's courtroom, the amazing DDA Casey Higgins was removed immediately after he stuck up for us. And he said, I think from memory, he said something like, when is enough and we keep these guys in custody? Like, how many times do they have to violate probation? And we keep telling them, go get him. So he was removed and he was surreptitiously, did I say that right, replaced by a new DDA, and her name is Miriam Avalos. So we're in Judge Mader's courtroom. Case number is BA 436130. And Maurice Driz is what we're dealing with here because we're doing Alberto's in the other one. So Maurice's attorney is Mark Werksman. Okay, so we start off and Judge Mader opens with, my understanding was that at the airport court, Alberto both entered a plea of guilty on the pew-pew allegation, the new case, as well as admitting to being in violation of probation on my case. However, the minute orders, they only reflect a guilty plea. Now, remember, the minute orders are like the truncated bullet point version summaries of the entire transcripts so that, certain people don't have to read 1,100 pages of words like I've done. So the minute orders are just, to make it easier to read. So this is where it's really interesting, because when you're removing judges, removing DAs, and you're altering illegally transcripts, and then you bring in the new judge and the new DA and the new minute orders, that's where it's easy, where things can slip through the cracks, because they can say, my hands are clean, I just read the minute orders. Anne doesn't have a star witness to her attempted unaliving, because it doesn't say it here, because the transcripts were edited. Same thing here. So Judge Mader's actually noticing and saying on the record that what you told me is not what's being said in the minute orders, the legal part of this. So, again, a little bit of a breakdown judicially, as she mentioned in one of my previous parts. So then Maurice Driz's attorney, Mark Werksman, he says, well, in the airport court, Alberto admitted to the probation violation. Mr. Alberto Driz did admit the probation violation, and there was a global settlement. There was a deal made between the DA's office through head deputy Stephen Katz of the airport court, he is out, not in our jurisdiction, and the defense of Alberto Driz accepted by Judge Schwartz, again, not in our jurisdiction, that in exchange for a plea of no contest to the new felony complaint and admission of the probation violation, which is not written in the minute orders, that Judge Schwartz, in possession of both cases, would sentence Alberto to time served, basically 20 days that he served in custody until we could get the emergency secret hearing, and that he would resume his terms and conditions of probation. So I think we can all agree that even if you're not on felony probation for a violent crime, that a regular person like me or you or your friends, if we were caught with illegal white powder, and at the time the green plants were illegal, and we had those, like no prescription, and specifically a loaded, stolen, chambered pew-pew, a 25 Beretta, if we were found with that, we'd be in trouble. Do you think you and I would get more than 20 days in county and then immediately released? Well, that's what happened. A deal was made privately in the airport court with Judge Schwartz, and they were like, 20 days is enough, because I think he has sleep apnea, and that's very serious. Okay, so then he said, Mark Werksman, Maurice's attorney, then says, not only did Judge Schwartz resolve the outstanding allegation of a probation violation, but that Judge Schwartz modified the conditions of probation for Alberto Driz such that he permitted him to additional travel and some other terms and conditions. He rewarded him on felony probation for after they found the narcotics and the illegal chambered pew-pew. He rewarded him by making his travel requirements flexible so that he could do as he wanted, and they gave him the deal. So, like, this is very exciting for the Drizzes, you know. Like, I wonder why they haven't done this more times. So then Judge Mater responds, okay, well, the minute orders are still incomplete then. She then repeats, it doesn't reflect anything about a probation violation having been admitted to, because that's actually a pretty big deal. Proud of you, Judge Mater, for, you know, doing your job. Then she says she's still confused, though, because Alberto was released from custody, despite him being on a no bail status due to the violation. So laws are just being broken left and right here over in the airport court. He was literally on a no bail status due to the violation, and they said, no, we got to release him. Okay, ready for this? Buckle up. Okay. So Maurice's attorney explains why Alberto was released in the airport court. And this is what he says. He says, in fact, Your Honor, something even more complicated occurred, which is that Alberto Driz's arraignment on the new charges, I believe he was released because of the pending Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. So, again, I would love to hear your personal stories and examples. If any of your friends or family or you yourself were ever caught with a loaded stolen pew-pew and white powder that's illegal, and then the judge saying, okay, I have no questions about any of that. I have no follow-up questions. I don't want to know the backstory. But one thing is for sure. I'm going to expedite your release. I'm going to make sure your traveling is a lot easier to do. And it's a Jewish holiday, so you shouldn't be in jail. We don't jail people, I guess, for if you have religious holidays. Again, I'm not an attorney, so I could be wrong. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. How much time do I have? Okay. So Judge Mater is like, cool, pretty much. Just like, okay, that tracks. No follow-up questions. So then Judge Mater then goes, she kind of switches over the topic and she goes, okay, well, the other thing is I want to understand facts about the pew-pew. I'm actually happy about this because Judge Schwartz in the other hearing was like, I have no questions about the pew-pew or the narcotics or anything. No questions. In fact, I'm just going to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm going to give you advice to clean up the rest of the bullets from your place, and then I'm going to expedite your release. At least she's saying, wait, well, we still have to clear up the whole incident. There was clearly this, pew-pew. And so what she's referring to, she's like, because Alberto and Maurice, during the surprise raid, they told the cops, it's a family heirloom. They both agreed, they both said it, it's a family heirloom to all of the Beverly Hills Police Department. Despite it having a serial number in the police department, tracking down the owner, and it was 100% proven it's a stolen pew-pew from Lawndale, California, which is like an hour or two south of LA. So the Judge Mater says, she goes, I think those are facts that should have been taken into consideration by Judge Schwartz, and I'd like to know about the narcotics found within the residence. Amazing. So I love when people do their job. It's so exciting. So then she says, okay, what I'm going to do, she's like, I'm going to order the verbatim transcripts of those hearings that were done in Judge Schwartz's courtroom so I can understand what happened, because it doesn't make sense. And then she says, by the way, DDA Higgins, the amazing one who was removed for speaking up for us, she says that he actually, before he left, like his last little act of kindness, was that he filed a motion to continue. So he made sure the owner of the pew-pew was contacted, subpoenaed to come to court and everything, before he was replaced by a woman named, she's DDA Miriam Avalos. And the judge says, yeah, and my clerk also indicated to me that Miriam Avalos is saying this case is a lot more complicated than she anticipated. Like she hasn't been given information, and DDA Avalos agrees. I'm going to end this here. I have to finish the rest of this hearing because it still goes off the tracks. But I'm running out of time. So thank you so much, everybody, for following along and asking great questions. I love reading your questions and answering them. They're really smart, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the support too. Thank you so much.